Everybody all together in the chat now. Ichi Nissan. Duh. It is time for AEW news, folks. So AEW Collision, this was last week, drew 248,000, a .05 in the key demo. These are the final numbers using the more reliable big panel plus data. Now, Dave Meltzer's, and we're going to cover this on Thursday's show, but Dave can't avoid getting roasted on PWT ever. Okay?
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Dave Meltzer's creating this narrative of like, oh man, this is a disaster. It's the worst thing that could have ever happened. He's saying that because it's harder for him to, these numbers are more accurate. And I read something, I hope I bookmarked it, but someone tweeted out, I think it was Switchblade, it adds 45 million more homes or something. Am I right about that? So it's giving you a larger sample size and you're seeing AEW's ratings are down. And Dave wants you to believe that with a larger sample size, like all this does is discredits the whole Max theory. Oh, all these people went to watch on Max. Nielsen's just one sample size. It's just this one number. So when we increase that sample size and we see Dynamite's doing like and the numbers are more accurate for Switchblade could break it all down way better than I'll get him to write a thread or something. I'll hit him up. Basically, we're seeing that Dynamite isn't as popular. Like, okay, you add Max. There's no proof that even if we get a larger Nielsen sample size that the numbers are any better. Seems so far like there's. Now you can attribute that to all wrestling's had ratings lately, Brian, or whatever the you want. But I mean, hey, we're just looking at it. We're just playing the ball as she lies, right? So moving forward, the final Nielsen numbers will take longer to be released. So whenever you guys see these first numbers, so far, we're tracking here at PWT. They're trending higher than they actually are for both WWE and AEW, and people are jumping the gun. Wait a little bit, wait an extra day or two, and then those next numbers will come out and they will be muy spot on, okay? They will be indelibly on point. Thank you, Switchblade, for keeping us up on all that. So AEW scored its lowest audience in 18 to 49 rating in show history on Wednesday night with the new Nielsen Big Data Plus panel rating system. It was the second episode of Dynamite to be tracked using the new methodology. And then Switchblade was melting down. He's like, why isn't Raj acknowledging the new system? And I'm like, because Switchblade, you're 4 steps ahead of everybody on this, Don't worry. He'll catch on. And then he DM me. He's like, man, I give Raj credit. He's acknowledged it. Dave won't acknowledge it. I'm like, I know, dude. Dave's such a fraud. Now he has to acknowledge this. And he's like, oh, just a terrible week. It's so funny. It's so funny. He's had a horribly bad last couple of years, But to make it about Raj here, who's been just posting objective, everybody goes, oh, of course you try to make Raj posts the exact verbatim, word for word, same thing about Raw and Dynamite every single week. And people go under the WWE and try and say he's shilling. And then they go under the AEW and say, oh, he's trying to make AEW look bad. No, that's what Dave does. Okay, it's the same thing. Every show I read a Raj Giri post, it's the same wording, the same way he tracks it, the way he lays it out. It's just him stating this information that he's accumulated the exact same way every week. Meanwhile, Dave Meltzer has like there was a Quidditch game on, there was a poodle shaving contest over on Channel 6. He's got a different explanation. The NXT ratings are like, this is what they are. And then AEW, there's like a paragraph. There's like 4 sentences about how he came to the conclusion. And then with Raw, he's like, I'm writing a very special article. Tune in, message board reader. Raj just presents the data. Now people see that there's more text here. Yeah, because now there's 2 sets of numbers. Now it's the big data plus panel, whatever Nielsen's doing. You have to elaborate a little bit more. So yes, there's more information here. There's more context, and there likely will be in the future, but it will remain the same structure here. I don't get why people go so hard on Raj. He got drunk one time and drunkenly tweeted out. Gives a so Dynamite averaged 465K viewers, down 16%. Isn't that the lowest of all time? 0.09 in the key demo, a 0.09 in the key demo. And remember, Dave does all this too. Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week, Thursdays on YouTube, live, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Dave Meltzer, though, he keeps doing this thing where he's like, oh, it's the fucking ratings. Then it's the key demo matters. And then now he's talking about, oh, you're foolish if you think overall ratings matter. Otherwise, WWE and AEW both wouldn't, blah, 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 blah. Which it doesn't matter which one of those things is fucking true. What matters is that Dave just whips out whatever one works at the fucking time for him and whatever narrative he's trying to paint. So Raj says, as always, these numbers do not include the HBO Max simulcast. Dynamite was number 5 for the night on cable behind MLB Wildcard Series, Gutfeld, Jesse Waters Primetime, Hannity, and The Challenge. Now, again, we give Meltzer shit because he compares news to AEW. And he goes, well, all the other shows weren't blah, 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 which is foolish to do. Just to clarify, Raj isn't comparing them in that way. He's just stating what else was on television and what they were behind in that time. Because people try and do that too. Well, Raj brings up the news and shit. No, stupid. Context is king. Like, Dave brings it up and he compares like the type of ratings AEW does with the type of ratings fucking the news does. Fox News, even though it's all these different, it's Jesse Waters, Gutfeld, Hannity, and The Challenge. It's like 4 fucking shows. Raj is just telling you this is what else was on. So year over year, Dynamite was down 32%, while the 18 to 49 was down 55. Well, young people are just on that.
Stupid idiot.
Holy dude, that's brutal. That's brutal, man. It's time. People want a new wrestling company to swoop in. It might be TNA, even though they're like an old company. It might be their chance to swoop in. Sari made her ROH debut. We watched that. So Switchblade had this to say, responding to Awful, who posted the ratings here. He says, the quarter hours? Switchblade says, why do they continue to do the overrun? 99.9% of the time, the overrun they do drags the final number down, as it's 99.9% always lower than the 2-hour average. You are making your numbers look worse. Fucking A, buddy. We all know that, but it just doesn't matter. Like, you could do anything. 400,000 just dropping. I mean, it just plummets. The overall gets hurt. Tony Khan doesn't study and learn. Dave Meltzer doesn't study and learn. They haven't learned their goddamn lesson. And they just keep doing this over and over. And it's never going to work for them. And if you count the lead in, I mean, it's always a little bit inflated. I'm not going to break down each quarter hour, but Adam Page backstage promo, Tony Storm versus Ty Mello. And then Guevara, Kingston. Oh, so was Guevara around with Kingston? So maybe they worked their shit out. I wonder how Andrade, or was it just like a pre-tape thing? It could have been pre-tape. Ad break, Joe was back. And then it just, then you got Joe back there. People turning off the show. Poor Joe. And then, yeah, you end the show with like Statlander and Darby Allin and Shafir and Yuta. And then Death Riders and shit, which have just killed their company. And even if you didn't add in the overrun, though, the average is fucking terrible. Like, their ratings are just in the shits, man. And I don't care what anyone's saying. There's not a babillion people watching on Max. WrestleDream. The world title match is set. It's Samoa Joe, who's 1/3 of the Trios champions, and he's taking on Hangman Page. Again, this is going to be a notch on Page's belt here. He's just going to fucking beat Joe, and they're going to pop a bit of a number with it or whatever because Joe's on the fight. Like, they need to bolster up their pay-per-view a bit. I've told you guys this. And we're going to look at what this, we could look at it right now. Let's look at what this show's selling compared to TNA. We did TNA news earlier, and I wrote this. I remember saying this would happen and having mentally deranged sickos melt down and tell me it wouldn't. So WrestleDream has 3,000. And this is posted, I think, the same day, I believe it was. So the current distributed 3,986, so 4,000 tickets. They're set for 4,700. This is WrestleDream in St. Louis, October 18th. The same week, man, Bound for Glory. October 12th in Lowell, Massachusetts. Shout out Sassy Gal, I think is going. They're set up for 5,200, 5,300, and they've already sold 4,500 tickets, man. TNA, come on down. Now, I'll hold the L where it's appropriate. Like, I talk shit, and I was like, TNA PLEs are going to be doing like 7,000, 8,000. When they start drawing 8,000, by the end of the year. Well, they didn't do that. I was talking a lot of shit. I thought by Bound for Glory they'd do like an 8,000. I think didn't they do 7,000 for Slammiversary though? It was crazy. So either way though, they're outdrawing the PLEs. Period. Point blank. They're starting to do that. Once the TV deal happens, holy shit, heads are gonna spin. I put out another tweet saying like it's been fun and everything for AEW, but like I just think it's a wash now. Like it's over. 1, 2, 3, dude, ring the fucking bell. It's over. Yeah, I mean, they've sold likely, if we were to update the ticket sale, TNA's probably for BFG sold more tickets than AEW's even set up for WrestleDream. So that's why Joe versus Hangman is going down as well, and that's why they want to do Andrade Omega, and Dave's freaking out about that because he hates Andrade. And I'll give Dave credit. He hated on Andrade before he left AEW. He's hating on Andrade again upon his return. But he wants to see Fletcher Omega because he wants to give that 8 stars. We'll talk about that in coming. I'm sure the next pay-per-view will be Fletcher Omega. But it's Andrade Omega and it's Joe Hangman because Tony's hoping to like sell some more tickets and pop a number. I mean, some redacts will be like, oh, last minute when AEW's tickets magically spike up last minute like they do every fucking time because Tony Khan will put the tickets on sale for $6 walking in the fucking door and he buys 2,000 of them himself for 1,000, which whatever. I don't get mad when WWE fluffs the numbers a bit. I've always kept that same energy. Whatever. If Tony's going to do that, they're carny bookers. We can see based on the interest, the attendances overall and shit. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Bound for Glory is going to end up announcing a higher attendance. Or if it's off by like 1,000, I'm telling you right now, Tony just papered his shit up a little bit because he can afford to do that. And he's been accused. And we've seen it before too. And we've heard the rumors. We've brought the stories to this show. We've seen tickets that say comped on them. Maybe people are taking the time to AI that and shit. I don't fucking know. You don't know anymore in 2025, do you there, Lex? What do you know these days, Lex?
I don't know!
Me neither, bud. But, yeah, so TNA, they're outdrawing. They're outdrawing. And the reason Joe's thrown on there, even though he's a trios champ, is because they just need to bolster up a bit of ticket sales and some interest, and Joe does that. And that's why I've said he needs to fucking be their world champion and all this shit. But Tony, here's the thing. Look at the videos of how Joe and Tony Khan interact. And there's like a brief moment of Joe giving Tony a fist bump when he goes in for a hug. It's like a split-second moment on the 10 minutes of Tony Khan video, which I implore you all to check out on my YouTube channel and on Patreon. There's a longer version because, YouTube, there's like a version where I EFAP it as well and stuff with, I think, Marv the Movie Monster. But anyways, back to this. Joe doesn't hug fucking Tony and all that. He's not giving him hugs. He's not making out with him like some of these other guys do. He just keeps it super professional. And like Joe even said on CVV's interview, he's like, yeah, we'll do it. They were talking about WWE and he's like, yeah, and in the future, we'll have more matches. Like Joe will go back to WWE one day. He will work there again. I am so fucking certain of that. But his deal I don't know. I think 2027 is going to be another wild year. I've always predicted that. And I'm not, I have no insight on that. I'm just saying like maybe that's a year I think he's got to be still in AEW for a while. At the same time, who knows? Let Joe, if Joe comes back and they stick him on commentary again, he was great on commentary. Do I want to see him have a run where he takes out Brock Lesnar and shit? Yes. Is Joe maybe a little bit past? I don't know. He could come back in the next 2 years and maybe win the world title, have a short run or so. That could be really fucking cool. And I just think the way Joe spoke on CVV and shit is the reason why. It's not that he buried AEW. He's a consummate profesh, right? It's just that he's like, yeah, I mean, I'll run it back with people in WWE in the future too. Like, it's just him basically saying, he said it right there on CVV. Like, yeah, I'll fucking go back to WWE when this deal's up. If the money's right and they let me do my acting shit. Well, what has WWE been letting people do more of? Fucking acting shit, right? So I just think Joe, they'd have no problem bringing him fucking back. And he's just like a mind you want backstage and shit too. Like he's just one of the fucking, in my top 5 probably all time for me is Joey Headknocker. Now, Am I pumped for him and Hangman? I am. I'm not going to lie, because Joe won't do a... Look at the match Joe had with Punk. Like, he's not going to go out there and do 45 minutes and let fucking Hangman tombstone him off the fucking... it's not going to be all that. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be two fucking guys going out there, slugging it out, and Joe is going to put on a primarily psychology-based match with Hangman that fucking makes Hangman look really good and really strong coming off the back of it. And if Joe slips away with the title, I'll start glazing AEW again tomorrow. I'll start shilling AEW like fucking Meltzer, okay? I'll be watching that shit. I'll be reviewing it on Cage Match and shit.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So New Japan has run less United States shows in 2025 due to declining attendance and some roster members not wanting to make the trip for the shows. So I looked this up, man. New Japan on January 4th at the start of this year, just New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, drew like 25,000 people. AEW the next night, AEW versus New Japan, the same New Japan wrestlers plus AEW wrestlers, they drew 16,000 the second night. Some fucking marks were like, the second night's never in New Japan's history outdrawn the first night. I'm not going to take a sicko's word for that, but you just helped prove my point. AEW, the reason they put AEW on the second night is to bolster the fucking second night. Otherwise, they do it on the first night. Idiot. But instead, the first night, they let their guys have, and then the second night, AEW guys are supposed to come in and help garner interest, help sell more tickets, and help New Japan America, which it has not done. It hasn't done either of those things. So now, if New Japan in America with AEW was doing real well, and they were doing more shows, but then that you showed me that pay-per-view statistic, I would go, okay, maybe you're right, fuck me. But no, I maintain, well, look, the partnership I thought was supposed to help, what's the word, release some of that fucking burden on New Japan to fill up, that second night, and some of these other events, and some of when they go on excursion and shit like that, and like to boost up interest in the G1 and all this shit. I thought that was the whole point of partnering with someone. Just like NXT and TNA, you're excited to see everything they're doing because NXT's helping to boost TNA, and even vice versa. It's cool seeing TNA guys fucking run up on NXT and stuff. It's sweet, man. I love it. I'm a filthy mark, dude. I love shit like that. Phil S. Marks. But I maintain that, yeah, dude, they are being outdrawn by New Japan when they're supposed to be there to help boost. They couldn't even hit 20K. Why'd they get outdrawn the next night by almost 10K? Is that the case every year? I don't fucking know. And they are doing less American shows. That's their American partners, dude. Why is that fucking happening? That's who they cross over with. They did a crossover event. There's no fucking interest. And you're just like, well, it always does less. Well, yeah, because it's not always AEW Forbidden Door the next day right after. So if I'll see AEW helping New Japan. I'll believe it when I see it, I guess is what I'm getting at here.